This is Shy,
And this is Megan,
and this is the Magical Happy Hour.
a podcast where we share our love of Disney and theme parks, travel tips, food.
And anything else we feel like talking about.
It is our fourth episode.
Yay!
This episode, we're going to be focusing on DOS, the Disability Access Pass, and Rider Swap.
Yeah, Disney has recently made some changes to the DAS Pass, and we think it's important for you guys to be aware of these changes because we know it's going to impact so many. But before we get into our main topic, let's talk about some news.
Donald Duck's turning 90.
That old man, that old duck.
It's funny because so I saw that his birthday is supposed to be on June 9th, which is coming up soon in about a week or so. We're recording today on June 1st. So June 9th of 1934 is his like canonical birthday in the Disney lore, the Disney canon as they say. But it has been alluded to in some Donald Duck media that his birthday is on March 13th or Friday the 13th. Those have both been referenced in different cartoons. And I guess they say Friday the 13th because of his prone to being in, you know, bad luck. Bad luck for that duck.
Yes.
But I
Bad luck
thought
for that duck.
I relate to Donald Duck. Donald Duck's my guy.
Yes, Donald Duck is definitely Megan's favorite Disney character for sure.
We got our short tempers and our stints of bad luck.
And your cuteness. So, in honor of Donald Duck's 90th, they're coming out with a ton of merchandise. And it's so cute. If you guys haven't seen it, there's these fluffy ears that have Donald on them, and I absolutely have to own them.
Oh my gosh, did I see Fluff? Oh, the fluffy bow with his little butt in the 90?
With his little butt in the 90.
Like at the end of why am I spacing?
Mickey
Oh, Fill Our Magic.
Oh, our magic. I wanted to say Mickey and the Magical Map.
I kept wanting to say Phantasmic. I was like, no. It reminds me kind of the like the theater masks that you see displaying like the two sides of drama. What is it? Comedy and tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what the ears remind me of.
yeah. He's so cute. Yeah, I love those. My friend Kayla, our friend Kayla, I'm going to be mentioning her later in this episode, but she has a really cute, I don't know if, I can't remember, I think it's a backpack, but one side is Donald and one side is Daisy. And it's so cute. I love it so much.
That's super cute. Cause Daisy is her girl, huh?
Daisy is her girl, yes.
Very cute. We were talking briefly before Shy and I mentioned Bauble Bar. They have some very cute jewelry of Donald Duck that I saw yesterday. And for those of you that know me, or that don't know me, I should say, I don't have my earlobes pierced anymore, but I'm considering it. 'Cause they have, I think you, Shy, have either the Minnie or Mickeys that are just like the like wire kind of out like their outline.
Yes.
Yeah, they have Donald ones. I don't know if they've had those in the past, but I thought I just saw them for the first time and they're so cute.
No, I've never seen them. That sounds super cute. And I also want to apologize in the beginning of this episode for my voice. I do have a bit of a cold right now that I'm trying to conquer. So, apologies if my audio doesn't sound that great this week, but we're working through it.
Shy's being a trooper.
I do have some Donald Duck trivia for you.
What? Okay.
Okay, so you already did the first one, his birthday.
Okay, I was wondering why you were looking at me like that. It's because I put my notes on a different page.
Oh, no worries. Yes, so the first one I did was the first one I have is his birthday. Do you know what or what was Donald Duck's first time on screen?
Like, what was the name of the cartoon? I don't know. And I just watched something about it recently too, but I don't remember.
It was The Wise Little Hen.
Okay. Was
I
it
don't
just
know.
him or was it
It's
him
a
and Mickey Mouse?
I think it's him and Mickey Mouse. It's just a little short. Yeah. And then, do you know what Donald Duck's middle name is?
No, I should, but I don't.
It's Fauntleroy. Donald
Fauntleroy.
Fauntleroy Duck.
His
Yes, I don't
me and
know.
his parents are gonna have a discussion.
And it's
Right?
mentioned in the Quack Pack episode called All Hands on Duck.
Cute, cute.
Okay, you might know these last two. Who was the first person to voice Donald Duck and who is the current voice of Donald Duck? No?
I have no idea.
No? Okay. So the first voice for Donald Duck is Clarence Nash, and that was until like the mid to late 80s. And then since then, it has been Mr. Tony Anselmo. So
Hey,
he's the current voice of Donald Duck. But I just thought that was cute little trivia section for you.
thanks for voicing our guy.
Thanks for voicing your guy, guys.
I guess I gotta brush up on my Donald Duck knowledge because I didn't know any of those. I feel like
You knew his
I
birthday.
yeah, just that though. That's okay. Now I know.
Now you know. What else in news?
So, I recently heard on May 22nd, it came out through KTLA that Club 33 was getting its own movie.
Oh, right.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I've seen talk online of mostly people mocking it, but it does sound interesting. I'm intrigued. It's about an aspiring detective that's invited to the club and it turns into a murder mystery. And the club's depicted as magical with iconic historical members. So it kind of sounds like Trader Sam's meets Night at the Museum. That was really the first thing that went through my head, which sounds like they wouldn't go together, but it being described as magical just makes me think of, the different effects that are all going on around you while you're sitting there enjoying Trader Sam's for what it is. They make that establishment magical. Sounds like this depiction of Club 33 is supposed to seem the same way.
Yes, that's such a great analogy. I think I was kind of thinking of it similar to like Beauty and the Beast and like the characters coming to life in that sense. I'm looking forward to giving this movie a shot because I like the idea of it. I love a good murder mystery and I love, the history and such of Club 33. I've never been. It's on our bucket list for sure. But yes. Oh my goodness. And before we go on, I am so sad to tell you that in our last episode, we're talking about different shows and such that we want to add to our list of group watching on Disney Plus, and they have since done away with that feature. You can
What?
no longer do group watch on Disney Plus. I tried to do it last night with my friend, and it's not there anymore. And I looked into it, and apparently it's been gone since September of 2023.
What the heck?
I know.
But Hulu still has it. Oh, no. Maybe they did. Oh, shoot. Okay, so a few months ago when Leo was staying here, we watched Twilight, but we started watching Twilight and then when she went home, we were like, "Oh, let's keep watching it together through the group watch." And so in my head, that's what we did, but in reality, we just both watched it at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah. Shoot,
I know.
I'm mad. That was fun. Why would
That
they
was
do
really
that?
fun. I don't know.
Well, if anyone else knows of a streaming service that still offers that, let us know because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really fun. Or if there's like another way that we can go about doing it, I think that it would be really cool too. But yeah,
That's rude.
I agree.
Well, you'll be here in a couple days, so I guess we can
I
watch
will
something then.
be. Yay.
Shy and I are well, this will come out afterwards, probably pretty couple weeks after this all happens, but so you already have heard it maybe, I don't know, or you can look forward to it, but we're planning to go to Centrico.
Yes.
Yeah, and do our own little review. Shai's going to the parks for 2 days, so she'll have much more to talk about in relation to what's going on inside the parks, but we're gonna spend some time in downtown Disney together. I definitely wanna check out some of those salt and straw flavors that they just came out with. I don't know if you saw
Ooh.
those. They partnered with a few different breweries and came out with a variety
Ooh.
of, yeah, series that all have to do with, like, beer flavors or they're like, incorporating beer into the ice cream flavors, so I sounds great to me. Regardless of the skepticism around the movie, I am excited to see what they come up with. Sounds interesting. I saw it compared to Clue and Night at the Museum in the article, so and I think a good maybe way to feel out the people that have been casted as, like, directors and other production staff are I saw that a lot of them are working on that Deadpool and Wolverine movie that's coming out, so hopefully that's good, and then hopefully we'll get something good with this movie too.
As long as it's better than the Haunted Mansion.
I never finished it. That was sad because I like so many people in it, but I fell asleep, so one day, maybe.
Maybe. All right. So let's get into the episode. I'm going to be talking about DAS Pass. So, if you are unfamiliar, the DAS Pass is the Disability Access Services Pass. It gives guests with a developmental disability a return time in the app so that they don't have to wait in a traditional line queue. And there has been a lot of talk on the media because Disney's making some major changes to the to who qualifies for receiving the DAS pass. And I read this article, I'll link it in the podcast notes. It is from Walt Disney World News Today, and it's talking about a group called the DAS Defenders, which is a group that just got together to create a petition. And the petition is called, quote, "Stop excluding disabled people from Disneyland and Disney World with new policy." And as of the time that this article was released, it had over 16,000 signatures.
Do they have a goal?
Um, what was that?
Do they have a goal?
It doesn't state that they have a goal.
Okay.
In a press release from the DAS Defenders, they stated that the updated DAS program now primarily caters to developmental disabilities, but troubling, it has even excluded individuals with autism. This new policy neglects a wide range of disabled individuals, including those with cancer, PTSD, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, seizures, heart conditions, and many other visible and invisible disabilities. It is really unfortunate that Disney has taken this approach. Obviously, the reasoning behind it is from their standpoint that the DAS Pass is being abused and it's, filling up the lightning lane lines and creating, longer waits for people that are paying to go through the lightning lane. And I do understand that to some extent, but there has to be a way to accommodate people. So the reasoning behind Disney coming up with these changes is to hopefully combat the misuse of the service. And their suggestion to people that were part of DAS that are no longer qualifying is that they can go up to a cast member at each ride and request a return time or like explain if they need restroom assistance, which it's that works, I suppose, to an extent, but a lot of times you can't even find a cast member for help, or like that cast member might not even have knowledge on what you're talking about. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of like emphasis being placed on educating the cast members on like people's different needs and how to accommodate them. And another change that's being brought is that they're now limiting the number of guests that can be attached to someone's pass. I'm not sure if it was unlimited, but now it's saying that the limit is now three guests. That's it attached, in like not including the disabled person. So say there's four, so it would be for four people. So Disney's telling you that only a family of four can go on this ride together. The rest of you have to wait. Like I just don't understand.
Like,
And
what if it's kids? Like, what if it's 2 adults and then you have, like, 5 kids? Like, then
absolutely,
you're just gonna send those how does that work? Like, then you have to split up, like, this is a family place, right? That's what everyone says, like, of course, it's for everyone,
right?
but how can you like,
Not my
we're
family. My family's too big. Like what?
we're I don't know, that sounds absurd. I mean, a lot of this sounds absolutely absurd, but I'm gonna let you keep going before I say anything.
One of the quotes regarding that states, additionally, the limits of family size can pose an additional burden on families that rely on assistance of family members to care for a disabled child and can create distress for a disabled child who may not understand why certain family members are being excluded. Yeah. Another part of this article goes on to state that during virtual calls, with if you want to get the DAS pass, you can either go in person or you can do a virtual phone call. Uh, and it says, "quote supposedly trained cast members and medical professionals disabled individuals have received insensitive and ableist comments. Additionally, guests have received insensitive advice, such as being told lupus is not a disability, that they should not go to theme parks at all, or that they should buy the paid Genie Plus pass instead of receiving any disability accommodations."
Pay me more money for your disability to go to a theme park that doesn't wanna accommodate you, clearly doesn't care if that's how people are speaking to you, whether that's the company's policy or if it's one person, a representative, treating somebody
Yeah.
that way.
Disney is not creating a welcoming environment for its disabled guests, to say the least. Uh, And I don't think that this will be the last that we hear about this. I don't think that Disney is going to be able to implement these changes lightly, and I do not think it's going I personally don't think it's something that's going to last very long because this is discrimination, truly. You can't say that some disabilities are
Valid.
more deserving of a service than others. You
Mhm.
can't tell people that their physical mobility that they need to get a wheelchair in order to enjoy the park because that's also not the best option for everyone. And
Also
it's also not free.
mhm,
You're then having to pay anywhere from $20 to $80 a day to use the service. I mean, that's more than you would be paying for Genie Plus. So it's all around not moving in a positive direction for the company for sure in this regard. And I really hope that uh, they will like be able to reconsider these changes because it's just not fair to a lot of people. There's people on here, sharing that she's been battling cancer for 6 years and like can't be in a line because she might need to like be able to go use the bathroom. There's a family that discusses that her husband was in the military and like stated by the military that this person is 100% disabled and they have severe PTSD, and now they're going to be forced to wait in line or get a wheelchair. I mean, that just doesn't seem like the right answer.
it doesn't. And if those things, like getting a wheelchair or having to contact a cast member, there needs to be a way to do that easily.
Yeah,
And I don't mean get a wheelchair easily. I'm sure getting one is easy enough, but they are an extra cost, which you mentioned, which already is mind blowing to me that a mobility device is going to cost you more than already what you're paying. Like in some ways, it makes sense, but not that extreme of a price. Cast members need to be available though. If and that's a cost on them,
Yeah.
which fine by me, pay the workers, but they need to be available if that's gonna be a requirement. Plenty of people in this world have invisible disabilities. You can't tell them that theirs isn't right.
Yeah.
Also, I'm curious about people that have service animals at the parks. I should have asked her about this, but, one of my friends, she has a service dog that often when she goes to the parks, they go with her, and she has POTS or
Uh,
postular tachycardia syndrome.
uh-huh.
So her heart rate will accelerate rapidly, usually when you're going from like a standing up to sitting down position, but it
Mhm.
can be triggered from just standing for a long time.
Mhm.
So is she going to be then now, even with her service dog, they're going to be like, no, you don't qualify for this. Go get a wheelchair or figure it out.
Right.
Like, I have my medical device with me.
Right.
It's wild. It's so wrong.
Yeah. It really is. But if you are interested in utilizing the DAS Pass, I did want to give some information
Mhm.
on how you're able to do that. So there are two ways to have a conversation with a cast member to determine eligibility for DAS Pass. Number one, you can do a live video. I believe it is 30 days in advance. It might have been changed to 60 days in advance. You can have a video chat with a cast member, explain what your needs are, and get approval that way. However, like if you're calling for your child or for another person, they must be, from my understanding, is that they must be present during the call, which makes sense. Can also have a conversation with the cast member to determine eligibility by going on site at an accessibility services window. Right now, in Disneyland, up until July 17th, you can just go up to a guest services cast member like the umbrellas that you see around the park and get and speak with them. But now, I guess after June 17th, it's going to switch to an accessibility services window. And I'm not sure where that's going to be, but we can let you guys know once we know. Step two, you request a return time. So after you've been registered and you enter the theme park, you can start requesting return times. It does work very similar to the Genie Plus Pass, except for you're not limited to only one ride at a time, and it is well, you are limited to one ride at a time, but you can do that specific ride more than once. And it's also for all of the rides, and it's not just for the Genie Plus, which is one of the other issues with just telling people to buy Genie Plus because Genie Plus doesn't serve all of the rides. So uh,
That's
it's
a good
just
point.
it just has a handful. So what about, rides like Peter Pan that have there's no mobility access really except for going through the exit, and B, there's that line is chronically 30 to 45 minutes long, and there's no fast pass or Genie Plus. So
For most of those dark rides, there isn't.
yes, but thankfully most of those dark rides don't have such a long wait time.
Sure.
But just using that one as an example, that always does.
Great
And
example.
then you can just use it like a fast pass. You go and scan it. If there's a scan system for that attraction, if there's not, there should be a cast member there that's able to scan your pass, and everyone in your party should be able to go ahead and get onto the ride if that's through the exit or through the Genie Plus line. So, I wanted to talk about some suggestions to help alleviate Disney's issue of people misusing the service. So, number one, there needs to be a free fast pass option. Uh, just like you're going to hear us talk about this probably hundreds of times, but just like with MaxPass, there was a paid option for you if you wanted to use it on their phone or on your phone, but there was also always that free option that was available to you where you could go up, get your ticket, and come back at that time. I don't think that is the sole answer to this problem, but I do think that it would alleviate a ton of people misusing it if they still have a free way to get on the rides with a little to no wait time.
Yeah, like you've pushed people out of being able to afford things. Of course, people are going to try to work around things so that they can experience a good thing, right?
Yes, exactly. I also think that it would be potentially beneficial to have some sort of medical proof as to like what your needs are. If that's a note from your doctor or if it's a prescription or something to say like some sort of proof. Uh,
Am I
but of
wrong to
course, that creates like a whole other problem of there's like some people that like don't have healthcare or access to healthcare.
Mhm.
But I still feel like there should be some sort of proof because the way it is right now is you're just going, you're explaining what your struggles are, what your symptoms are, and they're just taking your word for it and giving you the pass. But of course, there could be people that are being dishonest and maybe saying their child has special needs. If they don't, of course, like that's something that happens. When I feel like whenever you offer a service like that, but maybe requiring some sort of proof would deter people from doing that to an extent. What do you think?
I don't know what, like, the legality of doing all of that would be, but I think that it would make a lot more sense than having to explain yourself to somebody. I think that is ridiculous that you would have to explain yourself. I think if you have something, some sort of document, even if it's a note of some sort that states that this is a need that you have, then that's all it should be. You shouldn't have to explain yourself. Of course, I don't know what the extent of that explanation would be. I also don't, maybe we all don't know who is making these calls. Like, is this just a trained employee that's trained on policy? They're like listening to certain like for certain buzzwords and then moving on. Are they, like, actually asking questions? I don't yeah. I think that it would just be a lot more straightforward and easy if it was just like a, "Here's my document, move on with your life." People misuse everything all the time. People cut in lines, things happen. Like, we can all do our best to not be that type of person, and so people that have certain needs can get those needs addressed. We can all be decent people, good neighbors. But of course, not everyone is going to be, and there's only so much you can do about that. And I
Yeah.
think Disney making things harder for people with disabilities is not the answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially if that involves encouraging people to just pay more for things. That's dirty.
It does feel dirty. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. For anyone for everyone that doesn't know me, I work in social work. So, if I'm getting angry, that's why. And because I have loved ones that this is necessary for. And I think that anyone that needs it, it should be available to them without trouble, without extra cost, especially at a place where it is very expensive already.
Right. And, I know many years ago they used to just, you had an hurt ankle, you're, on a scooter, you just got to skip the line and go through the exit and you didn't have to wait at all and you would just get to go to the front of the line. And I don't think that's necessarily fair either,
No.
but creating some sort of wait in a virtual queue, I don't think anyone is necessarily upset about that. So, but I will leave it at that. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the DAS Pass or if you have any experience with it. I'm sure it's a topic that we'll revisit at some point, so we'd love to hear back from you guys. And I'm gonna pass it on over to Megan. She's gonna tell us a little bit about Rider Swap.
Yeah, so switching gears, maybe this can be used even in tandem with a DAS pass, or if you're somebody who's unable, not qualified at this time to get it, then this may be something good to consider. Or if you just have little ones, I'll get into all of those little details. But Rider Swap is a feature that allows adult guests to take turns waiting with little ones or guests that are unable to ride a certain ride. They can be used at any ride pretty much. And there's no limit to how it's done throughout the day. It's not really, it's something tracked by Disney. But Rider Switch is a program available to all guests that meet the following requirements. And those requirements are they don't meet, somebody in your group doesn't meet a boarding requirement. And so an adult needs to stay with them. You have a service animal that can't board that attraction, or you don't want to use the provided kennel, or you meet the boarding requirement, but you don't want to ride and you can't stay alone. So, kid that's old enough but doesn't want to go on, an adult just needs to stay with them and you can utilize that rider switch. It's definitely worth it
Do you know if
and it
it
might
has to be a child?
it doesn't have to be a child, but it does have to be an adult that's staying with them.
Okay, so, like, if we wanted to use Rider Swap for, like, Guardians, we could. Like, if there's a group of us and I wanna stay with you because I don't want you to be by yourself, but I still wanna
N-
ride.
no. We
No.
wouldn't qualify because I'm an adult that can stay alone.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So if I was somebody that had a disability of some kind and I couldn't, take be alone somewhere, I need supervision, then it would work, but not me as a fully able-bodied adult.
Got it, okay. So it can't just be because someone doesn't want to ride. It has to be
No,
because they're unable to be by themselves, or maybe they don't wanna ride, but they're unable to be by themselves.
exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, so rider swap's pretty straightforward. Definitely utilize it if you're a parent or an adult that is going to the park with somebody who is unable to stay alone, maybe doesn't want to do certain rides, or if you have a service animal that you don't like to throw into a kennel, can still utilize them in a in the park, but utilizing that ride swap along with it, you can still go on those rides while somebody stays with your animal. And I already said it's available at all attractions, so no limits on that, and then no limits on how often you use it. So if you're eligible, go ahead and do with it what you can.
Yeah.
I've never used it, so the one time that I was going to, just told everyone to go on the ride, and I would hang out with the baby.
Got it. Uh, I have used it. I think there's only one time that I can think of where I used it, but it was with our friend Kayla. So she has two children, and we all wanted to go on Indiana Jones. And it was me and Kayla, her two children, and then our friends Leah and Drew. And so we went up to the cast members, and Leah and Drew went ahead and went on the ride, and then they waited in line, and then when they were done, they stayed with the children so that Kayla and I could go on the ride. And so we go through the exit and we get onto the ride and we get into our little car and they have us, raise our arms and check the belt. And the car across from us, we notice, is having some issues. And they make everyone in the car across from us get out. Well, long story short, we were stuck there for about 30 to 40 minutes waiting, strapped in, while Leah and Drew were out stuck with two small, very young children
Oh
by
my gosh.
themselves. And so we're texting them, trying to explain what's going on, and we're getting videos of the kids, being crazy. And it was really like, of course, it would happen right then, right at that time, just for us, but it was so funny. I just wanted to share that story with you guys.
Did you ever get unstuck or
We did get unstuck eventually, yeah, they let us we got to proceed through the ride, but
okay, good. But oh my gosh. Well, you tried.
we tried, we did, yeah.
Better sitting on a ride chilling than probably standing somewhere, I guess.
Yes, for sure. Better us than them. We got to sit in a nice air-conditioned building. They had to stand outside and try to wrangle 2 crazy children.
You guys are mom and dad now.
Yes.
I'm looking at an SFGate article right now that says this affordable Disneyland food hack is actually genius and it's yours.
What?
And oh no, they use the beef skewer. Your cheesy garlic pretzel bread, they did it with the Bouillon beef skewer from Bengal Barbecue,
Oh, yeah. So good. I
but you did
actually
it with
can't
the
take
pork.
credit for that, for any of that, because Drew is the first person to show me how to do it.
Oh, really? It says that it's on TikTok, I guess. I'm hungry. What are you most looking forward to for your next Disney trip or your upcoming Disney trip?
I am looking forward to experiencing more of Pixar Fest, and I also have 2 dining reservations for Fantasmic.
You have 2?
So, I do. I have 1 each day.
Dang.
One is for Rancho del Zocalo, and one is for the River Bell. And I'm gonna be going to River Bell's brunch for the first time.
Oh,
So I'm really, really looking forward to checking that out.
they have a brunch dining package?
They do.
Oh my gosh. Have you already looked at the menu?
But no, I haven't.
Oh my, I'm hungry now. I don't even know what it is, and I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm excited to check that out. They started serving brunch shortly after the parks reopened, but I've never been. Like it's really hard to get a reservation there for brunch.
I
So it
wonder
must
if
be
they
good.
don't seat too many.
They they might not.
It's also, what, the only place or the one of 2 places in Disney that do, like, a breakfast or brunch? Because I believe Carnation Cafe is the only other sit-down place that does breakfast.
Like Plaza Inn does breakfast. It's like a character breakfast.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. But Plaza Inn isn't table service.
It is for breakfast. It's a character breakfast.
Oh, you just said that.
It might it might still be like buffets. I think it's like Goofy's Kitchen and all the other character like things. Like I think it's still like buffet style, but you have to have like a reservation.
Okay,
It's not how
but
it
it's
is for
buffet
lunch
style.
and dinner where you can just go up and grab food.
So it's not buffet style.
It is, but you have to have a reservation. Lunch and dinner you don't.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Lunch and
Sorry.
dinner is much more casual. You can just go up and grab your food. Breakfast is like you have a server like that's bringing you your drinks, and you just go up and like grab your food. But the characters are coming to your table, and it's a whole. I've actually never done it, but I've seen it going on, and I want to be in there, and I can see Minnie dancing, and I want to go hang out with her in there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, maybe we'll do that sometime then because I didn't even know that was an option, and that sounds kind of fun. You
Yeah,
did
and
Goofy's Kitchen, didn't
I've
you?
done Goofy's Kitchen, but honestly, you can get into so I've heard a hack that you can because they have breakfast options starting at Plaza Inn at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So you can actually get into the park like before park opens and have your breakfast. Yeah.
Okay, we're doing that.
Okay.
I don't know when, but we're doing that.
Okay. We can do
We'll just eat
that.
really fast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was told after the release of our first episode that by somebody, they said, "Oh, actually learned a lot. I listened to podcasts to learn things, and you guys taught me things."
Really?
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, that's
Yay.
nice.
That
That's real
is
nice."
nice. I'm so glad. I'm like, what did we teach that first episode? I don't know, but
I'm not sure. I didn't ask. I was just happy that they said something. I not that I was expecting them to say something rude, but it was just very nice. I was like, they just called us informative, and that's what we're going for, I think. So,
yes.
oh, and I heard from somebody else that said that we made them want to plan a trip soon. And so I told her to get in contact with you.
Oh, yay. Absolutely. It's so exciting.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening. We post new content every Saturday, so please follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you listen so you never miss an episode.
And don't forget to review and rate us 5 stars, share it with your friends, and subscribe to at the Magical Happy Hour on Instagram. Megan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Megan Creedon, Megancreedon. Shy, what about you?
You can find me at Disney Obsessed Nurse on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're interested in having a professional travel agent that specializes in Disney and Universal Studios plan your next vacation, you can click the link to my website in our podcast notes or email me at Cheyenne@vincentvacations.com.
Join us next week where we'll be sharing how you should prepare for your first Disney trip. You're not going to want to miss it.
Cheers!
Cheers.
Yay!